welcome back to my channel and welcome to a long overdue pregnancy update. I think the last pregnancy update I did was 20... let me check, I don't actually know. So organised, I always come so prepared for these. My last pregnancy update was... oh, that's bad. 23 and 24 weeks was my last pregnancy update, and today I am 30 weeks. So this will be my 25 to 29 week update. So that's pretty bad. That's definitely the longest I've gone. I've never normally gone 2 weeks without a pregnancy update before. I did actually film one a couple of weeks ago, but I watched it back and I was literally in like the worst mood ever. I was actually irritating myself watching it, so I was like, I just binned it. It wasn't working. So yeah, I'm back today with a pregnancy update, feeling much more chirpy and in the zone to film. So yeah, quite a lot actually has happened the past 4 or 5 weeks, so I definitely should have been updating you all, but I'm going to try and just kind of run through it really briefly without going into too much detail. The main thing that probably happened since I last updated you on all things pregnancy related... oh, I've got hair on my lip. This is not going well. The main thing that's probably happened since I last updated you on this pregnancy is that at about 27 weeks, I think it was, I had a period of baby being very, very quiet. I feel movement every day. I have done for a long time, but because I've got an anterior placenta, so my placenta is at the front, I don't necessarily feel as much movement as a lot of people do that have their placenta at the back. A lot of it is cushioned by the placenta, so I don't feel tons of movement as it is, and what I do feel isn't the strongest, obviously, because that movement is cushioned. I had a few days at 27 weeks where he was just really quiet. For him, like by his normal standards, he was really quiet and I was quite worried. So I ended up going into maternity assessment twice. They were absolutely amazing, and anyone who is worried about going in for reduced movements and scared that you're going to be like wasting their time or they're going to think you're too early or anything like that, absolutely go and get checked. It was the best thing I could have done. It made me feel so much better, and actually the first time I went in to get monitored, my friend Kirsty is a midwife. She lives down south now, so she's a midwife down south, but she's from Leeds and she did all her training up here, and the midwife I saw the first time I went to maternity assessment was actually her friend who she used to live with, and they did their training together, and she was so lovely, and it was just kind of such a personal experience as we kind of knew each other, and she really did put my mind at ease a lot. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend going to get monitored. It did make me feel a lot better, and typically, as always seems to happen, as soon as I was put on the monitor, he started literally having a party. I've never seen him be like that before, which makes me think, is he just a lazy baby? Because he was literally like thrashing around, like my belly. I see little bits of movement from the outside, but this was like my whole belly was like shaking around. He did not like it at all. So I am wondering if he is just lazy, because clearly he is capable of doing some quite erratic movements. But yeah, typically as soon as I got there, he was throwing himself around, and it took a long time to get the trace for that reason. I think it took about 2 hours to get like a 20-minute trace because he was moving around so much. He kept dropping off the monitor, but eventually we got that, and I was sent home, and for the rest of that day and for the next day after that, he was a lot better, and his movements kind of seemed to come back to normal, and he seemed a lot more lively. Then, a couple of days after that, he was just really quiet again, and whilst it had put my mind at ease going into maternity assessment on the Saturday, I was a little bit worried that maybe something had been missed, or I don't know, I just didn't feel right, I didn't feel comfortable. So I rang up and explained how I'm feeling, and they said, absolutely, come in, we want to put your mind at ease, we don't want you sat at home worrying, hopefully it's totally fine, but we would rather check. So I went back in, again, hooked up on the monitor, all lively, everything's fine, and the trace really showed how much movement he was doing compared to how much I could actually feel. Like, I was feeling like maybe 10% of how much he was actually moving. So yeah, anterior placentas are a bit shit, aren't they? But yeah, that put my mind at ease. Again, the midwife I saw that time was completely lovely, really reassuring, kind of encouraged me to come in. She said she would rather I came in every day if it put my mind at ease and if I was worried. So she was absolutely lovely. And because I'd been into maternity assessment twice in such short succession for reduced movements, it generated a scan, and a day or so after that I got to go for a scan so they could kind of just check everything was looking okay in there, check he was growing fine. So that was a huge relief, and Andrew was able to take the morning off work and come with me for that scan, so that was really nice. And baby was looking absolutely fine, everything was looking good. I was 27 weeks, 5 days at that point, and we got an estimated weight of £2.10. So yeah, he was measuring spot on the 50th percentile, so completely average, exactly where we would want him to be, not too big, not too small. So yeah, that was a really stressful week. I found 27 weeks a really, really tough week. I was feeling quite anxious, quite low, quite worried. It just was a bad week, but I absolutely would not hesitate to go to maternity assessment if I had the same problems again. Luckily, I haven't needed to go back, but if I did need to go back, I would be there in a heartbeat because they were amazing. What I will say after ending up in maternity assessment for reduced movements is that at that point I hadn't started properly tracking his movements myself. I was kind of just relying on tracking them in my head, and I think for someone who is so stressy, it isn't necessarily a good idea. I think if you're quite like free and breezy with pregnancy and like quite comfortable with it, feeling quite confident, then you know, yeah, you probably can do that, but for someone like me, I don't think it's the best idea. So what I did do was, as you all know, I bought the Kicks Count wristband. I actually haven't really used that. I was speaking to Stephanie Haywood. I'm sure you all watch her videos, but if you don't, I will link her channel below. And we've been talking a fair bit. She's also having a boy. I think she's about 4 weeks ahead of me, maybe. And yeah, we were talking about movements and like counting kicks and things, and she really recommended the Kicks Count app, which I will quickly show you. So it's just an app that looks like this, and every time you feel a session of movement, you just hit this, press save, and it adds it on. And it plots kind of all your averages, so your daily average, your weekly average. It plots it on a graph for the day, it plots it on a graph for the week, and it plots it on a graph for the fortnight, so you can kind of get a real clear indication as to whether you are experiencing reduced movements. You can feel a lot more confident reporting them because you can have actual stats to tell the midwives. I was quite worried about properly counting kicks. I wanted to do it, but I was scared that it would make me more scared, but I cannot tell you how much more confident I feel tracking his movements. And what it has also really shown me is that if I'm having a down day, like I'm feeling mentally quite low, I seem to automatically assume that his movements are reduced, when in actual fact, now I'm actually plotting them, I can see that's not the case. And if I have a day where I'm in a really good mood and I'm feeling really positive, like say I've just had a scan and I've seen him and he's healthy and I'm feeling really confident and I know he's okay in there, I automatically seem to think that he's having a really good movement day, when in actual fact he could be having less movements that day than he is on a day where I'm feeling really low and assuming his movements are reduced. So for me, it has done the world of good. I feel so much more confident properly tracking his movements. So if any of you have been thinking about it and don't know whether to bother, aren't sure what's the best way to do it, are worried that you would kind of find it scarier properly acknowledging the movements, if you are anything like me and you're a big worrier and you get quite anxious about things, really cannot recommend enough downloading the Kicks Count app. It has been a complete game changer for me. I love it and I would absolutely recommend it to anyone. It's completely free in the App Store, and yeah, for me it has just given me no ends of confidence compared to where I was before. So yeah, apart from that, I would say the other big thing to update you on is that last weekend, at 29 weeks and 2 days, myself, Andrew and my mum went along to Baby Bond again. They've got a lot of money from us. We are big Baby Bond fans in this house. But we went along to Baby Bond and we had our 4D scan. I wasn't really sure if I wanted a 4D scan or not. I find them quite scary, and at our 17-week gender scan, they flicked it into 4D, and I thought he looked absolutely terrifying. My mum thought he looked really cute, but I thought he looked really scary. And looking at other 4D scans, they could just look a bit freaky sometimes. And I wasn't sure whether, like, do all babies look the same on a 4D scan? I don't know. But my mum was absolutely desperate for us to have one. Like, she was not taking no for an answer. She was like, I'll pay, I don't care, I just really want a 4D scan. So we went along last weekend for a 4D scan. And oh my God, if you are considering it, do it. It's a lot of money, I'm not gonna lie. But I can honestly say it was worth every single penny. The bond, it sounds crazy, but the bond I feel like I have with him after seeing him in 4D, it's just insane. Like, I had this moment of realisation. I don't think I've let myself think this the whole pregnancy yet. And I had this moment of realisation where we were sat there and we were looking at him, and he was a baby. He wasn't a 2D black and white scan, he was our baby, and we could see his face. I had this moment of realisation of, like, we're having a baby. And it just made everything feel more real. It was insane. I cannot recommend it enough. I will show you him. If you watched my vlog last week, you will have seen that I did put a little bit of footage in from the 4D scan, and I know I'm biased, but I think he's absolutely beautiful. He has the most beautiful pouty lips the world has ever seen. He's gonna be a heartbreaker. But yeah, this is him. This is little baby Paul, our little baby boy. I keep wanting to say his name and I have to stop myself, but this is him, and oh, I just think he's beautiful. Look at those lips. If you watched my Q&A and someone had asked, what feature do you hope that baby gets from both of you? And I'd said that I hope he got Andrew's pouty lips. And I mean, I have reasonably pouty lips too, so there was hope there that he was going to have some lips on him, but oh my God, they're so cute. He's got this amazing nose. I posted it on Instagram and quite a few people said, oh, he's got your nose. That's so exciting. He might look like me. Like, it's just bizarre. Like, it's so clear. It just looks like a photograph. It looks like someone's just taken a photograph of the inside of my tummy. Like, it doesn't look like a scan picture to me. It's just so clear. It just looks like a photo, as if he was just laid here right now and that's a photo of him. Like, it's bizarre. Sorry, I know I'm rambling on about this, but I just thought it was incredible. So that's one picture. And then we also got this one. Oh, I look at them all day, every day. You can see his little arm curled up like this. Oh, he's so beautiful. Makes me emotional every time I look at them. Like, that is my baby. Like, that's crazy. And I've never really, like, I think when you've been through infertility or miscarriage or both, or any kind of, like, trouble conceiving like that, you naturally distance yourself a little bit to protect yourself. You kind of take a step back, because it would all just be so much, and I think you try and protect yourself, and I definitely think I've done that this pregnancy. Even though I have been beyond stressy and beyond anxious and everything, I think I've also taken a step back a bit from everything, and having that scan, it was the most incredible thing, and I just feel like that is my baby. And you know, there's still always going to be that what if. I'm always going to have that. I wish I didn't. I wish I could not feel that way, but I'm always going to have that what if. But I just think, like, no matter what happens now, that is my baby, and I've seen his face and I just love him. I just love him. Like, it was just the most amazing experience. It has made me 1,000 times more scared, because it's made me feel like I have so much more to lose now, because I've seen him. Like, I've really seen him. And it scared me a lot, but we're 3/4 of the way there now. We are so nearly there. We're on the home stretch. I've got in my head, I just want to get to 37 weeks. I just want to be full term, and then he can come whenever. And it's just, the whole thing is just, pregnancy is the most amazing thing. And pregnancy after infertility and pregnancy after recurrent miscarriage is such a roller coaster. It's the scariest experience in the world, but it makes the sweet moments so much sweeter. It's amazing. So yeah, they are the main sort of milestones we've reached in the past 4 or 5 weeks since I last updated you. Quickly, I will run through symptoms. I've been very lucky this pregnancy, physical symptom wise. I'm completely aware I have been really lucky. I've had no sickness. I've been very lucky. The only thing I'm struggling with at the moment is leg pain, and it's not even leg pain during the day, so I can't complain too much, but I have not slept properly for weeks and weeks and weeks. My legs are in agony at night time. I have this thing which I'd never heard of before, but it's called myalgia paresthetica, I think, and it is where the tops of your thighs, it's quite common in pregnancy, but people can get it outside of pregnancy too, and it's where the tops of your thighs burn. It's the only way to describe it, is that on a night time the tops of my thighs go completely numb, and then they literally burn to the point where they feel like they're physically on fire. Like, it is agony. It is such a horrible feeling. And obviously, because you have to sleep on your side in pregnancy, I'll be sleeping on one side and it just gets unbearable, so then I have to turn, but I can't turn without going to the toilet. Baby is so low. They said at my 4D scan he is so low. He's been head down since my first ever scan. Like, he's never not been head down. He's always been head down. He's always been really low and tucked down really low in my pelvis, and like, it just makes the need to wee insane. Like, I genuinely have not slept for more than about half an hour at a time for like 5 weeks. I don't mind. As we all know, I'm not working at the moment, so I'm very lucky that I don't have that worry of I've got to get up for work in the morning. I'm not napping during the day, which I don't really know why I don't do that, because I could nap during the day. But I get it in my head, if I nap during the day I won't sleep at night. It's just ridiculous because I don't sleep at night anyway. So yeah, it's really uncomfortable. I am finding I'm getting to the point where bedtime comes around and I'm dreading it. I'm dreading going to bed because the nights just feel so long. They feel so long. They feel so long. They feel like they're never going to end, because I spend the whole night just tossing and turning and needing to go for a wee, and I know it's just pregnancy. It's totally fine. And the midwife said the burning thighs thing should go, and I've had him, so it's fine. 10 weeks left. Focusing on 7 weeks left. And then that should be that, and that's totally fine. And I'm definitely getting that practice in for when everyone goes, oh, get your sleep in now while you can, because when baby's here you won't get any, because I'm not getting any anyway, so it's fine. I'm going to be sorted in that sense. So yeah, that's it really. I think all my other symptoms are probably the same as what I have told you before. Yeah. Bump is bumpy. I'm feeling big. But I am measuring spot on, so I am kind of exactly average and where I should be. They last measured my bump at about 27 weeks and it was measuring exactly 27 weeks. So hopefully it's kind of staying on that track. At the 4D scan last weekend, they did say he was now measuring approximately 3 pound 4 ounces. That's crazy. That's like a proper little baby. Yeah, so everything's going really well. Sleep is a problem, but apart from that, I cannot complain. I have had physically, ignoring the kind of like stress side of things, I've had a very physically kind pregnancy so far. So fingers crossed it stays that way. Yeah, and I think I will leave it there. I will just leave you all with the bump shot. I hope you're all doing really well. Please give me a little update, as I don't feel like I've had a proper chat with you all for such a long time, especially about pregnancy, infertility, miscarriage related things. So yeah, let me know how you're all getting on with everything, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys. So here is the bump at 30 weeks pregnant. Feeling very, very large and very, very round. And I can actually feel him kicking while I record this, which is lovely. So there he is.